You know, we love to talk about self-love here, but what about self-love in money? Yeah, not a common angle, but research shows money is one of the most uncomfortable topics there is, and I agree with that. So some self-love could help. Here to tell us why and how is Martha Adams. Give her some love. Martha, I love that we're connecting the two, and this is really the work that you do. So why does money make us feel so uncomfortable, and how can self-love with money and ourselves help?
Yeah, absolutely. So money makes us feel so uncomfortable because it focuses on the numbers. That's what the conversation focuses on.
Yeah.
But money in our lives is so much more than that. It's a human experience, right? It's in the way we've been spoken at when it comes to money, or perhaps even more powerful, the words that haven't been spoken. It's in our life experiences, the emotional experiences that we've internalized. And that's something that comes before and goes far beyond any financial statements, facts, or figures, right?
Okay, very interesting.
So this is where self-love around money can change the game.
Yeah.
Because now we are starting and continuing with an active understanding of you as an individual.
Okay, so if I were to break that down a little bit, when we see in society, number one, we don't talk about money. It's seen as very gauche. We don't talk about our salaries. We don't talk about, how much this cost and how much that cost. But there is a wall there because we are not talking about these things.
Yes.
They say women particularly, we don't talk about our salaries. If we don't talk about our salaries, how do you negotiate properly?
Exactly.
How do you know what to ask for? So there's a barrier that's happening. And there's other stories about money that we've been told which might not be true. So talk to me a little bit more about the messages we've internalized.
Yeah, and it all comes from exactly what you're talking about, normalizing a conversation, right?
Yes.
So here's an example of a message that we would have really easily internalized, right? This is one that, I definitely heard growing up in an immigrant household.
Me too.
There's never enough.
We ain't got none. There is no money to be had.
Exactly.
Right? When you keep hearing about the scarcity, that has you acting in a certain way throughout your life. It affects the way you move through the world, and it affects the way you look at your wallet and you look at dollars, and it can hold you back.
Absolutely. It all starts with the way that we see and feel about ourselves.
Yes.
Right? So that's exactly why self-love around money can make all the difference, and why I developed my 4R process to help. So that is to recognize, reconcile, release, and repeat. So we're going to break these 4 R's down.
Yeah.
And we'll start with the first R, right? Which is to recognize. So the first thing we're doing with recognizing is building an awareness.
Okay.
Right? And we started that by, connecting with the message that we'd internalized, which is there's never
enough money.
Right?
Yeah.
And so this can impact the way we earn, grow, and enjoy. If we're talking about salaries and negotiating salaries, what if we believe there's never enough, so there isn't enough room for me to negotiate my salary, right?
Then you're not even going to ask.
Exactly, because I see myself as a have-not.
Right.
Right? Now that I've recognized that I've brought an awareness, let's move to the next R, which is to reconcile. So this is where you're going to bring perspective.
Okay.
Right? Perspective to how that message came to be. Right? How did you internalize that? What were the life events that led to it? And with that understanding, you are creating the most powerful emotional response there is: empathy.
Empathy. Empathy for who?
For yourself to start, and then for the other characters in your story. When you can empathize with your own journey, right, you can start to see the perspective of others. So, I shared that in the immigrant experience, I definitely grew up with the idea of there's never enough.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But now I can also see my parents' perspective.
And
right?
you understand why they felt that way. They felt that way because they came here with nothing. They started with nothing. There was not enough. But we can actually take that and move that forward, right? Because we're now in a different situation than they were in.
I love that. We can take that and move that forward.
Yeah.
Here's how. We release with gratitude. Because we've learned so much about ourselves and our journey, right? So we can release the negativity with gratitude for what we've learned. So I can see that, you know, my parents started from nothing so that I could create everything, right? And now I'm going to change the game because now I'm going to repeat a new idea. Right? It's really important to repeat because in doing that, I'm forming a new habit.
That's the hard part, though, because the formative ideas that we grow up with and that shape us, they are, just as I said, formative.
Exactly.
So the work you have to do to unlearn, it's significant. So the repetition has to happen.
It's key. It's what I view as actually the most important R, right? Is that repetition. Because now I create the life I desire. Everything I need is here. Right here. So we started off with this ceiling of an idea that was holding us down. And here we are with self-love around money. It's become the platform that we stand on.
I love that. And you know what we're going to do at some point? We're going to talk about when we do start to discuss money, what happens with those feelings you get finding out what other people's salaries might be.
Good. Let's do that. I would love to have that conversation.
What do you do with that? Because the thing is, you need to have that disclosure. It's the thing that's going to help you move forward, but then you're learning information that might induce some rage.
Well, you know, this is where change comes from.
Right.
And so it's so important to have these conversations. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Okay, man, write it down. That's a future episode of Cityline with Mark.